I'm going to talk about some of the graphic novel, comic book trade bind ups that I've read. I'm going to start with Infidel by Pornsal Shoot and Aaron Campbell. I enjoyed it. I'm so glad I found out about it. It is very much giving you like suspenseful horror. The art is very dark and grim and gritty, and it lends so well to the story. And there's just so much to learn. It was so gory and gross and oh my gosh, it was really good. I enjoyed this a lot. I think there may be more issues to come out from it. I have to like look into that. This is a great comic book series so far. It was dark and engaging and I was entertained. I'm not one for horror. And I wasn't like super scared by this. I don't know, maybe because of how this is set up as a medium. You don't get the jump scares, you don't get the suspenseful music, but you do get a little bit of suspense because with every page you kind of want to know what happens next, what happens next, what happens next. I do think that the artwork, some of the imagery is just so visceral and vivid depending on your, I guess, tolerance or level of like dealing with this, with that kind of thing. It might, some of the imagery might kind of like affect you like a little bit, but for me, I've seen some weird, gross, disturbing things, so this is still kind of tame for me. It's just kind of like, it's weird, it kind of gives you a little bit of like a little bit of cringe in there, but at the same time it's still like it's not as mind shattering as I've seen a few things. I'll definitely reread this, and I'm looking forward to seeing if there will be any further installments of Infidel, because I believe it is a comic book series. And it kind of left off with an open end, so there is a possibility for more issues to come. I will definitely look into that. I read The New World by Alice Cott and Trad Moore. I love this so much. I think the artwork is just so amazing, so beautiful. It's just like, oh, it's so psychedelic and cool, but it also kind of reminds me of Adventure Time and Steven Universe. It reminds me of those kinds of like cartoons, but just more adult. Just so psychedelic. I just thought the artwork in here was so beautiful, so astounding, breathtaking, just gorgeous. And I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. I think there should be more issues in this. I have to look into that. I thought this book was very emotionally stirring to see a male masculine character being like badass kick ass, but also very like, well, actually, he wasn't like super kick ass, but he was very like smart or whatever. But he's also very in touch with his emotions and stuff like that. So he was willing to cry and just be very open and vulnerable with his emotions. I loved it. I loved the book. I loved the badass black female character who is also mixed race. Like, it's just, I love it. And it's like an Asian character, just like a kick ass dude. It's like, ugh. And like, I got a crush. I got a crush on him. Like, he's everything. Like, oh, I fucking love him. I think his name is Kirby. Oh, gosh, I will lick Kirby's nipples. He's so fucking fine. And he's so cool. Like, which is weird because it's just like, it's so weird to be like crushing on a like fictional artist rendered created character, but I don't care. Like, oh, Kirby could get it. Like, oh my gosh, you can sit your dick on my face. No, like, anyway, so I loved The New World. I thought it was like a great book. It was fascinating. It was lovely. It was gorgeous and beautiful. Just so beautiful. Do you see Kirby? He's beautiful, okay? You know? Such a good book. I enjoyed this a lot. I read Blackbird by Sam Humphries and Jem Bartel. I think I found out about Jem Bartel on Tumblr. Like, I think I saw some of her art and I was like, oh my gosh, her art is gorgeous. And I just kind of followed her. I think I followed her Tumblr account. Yo, Jem Bartel's art is crazy. He loves it. And I was like, yo, I love Jem Bartel's art. I want her to do art for me, okay? Like, I love her art. It just, because I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Her art reminds me of Lisa Frank meets Jem and the Hologram, because I love Jem. Jem is like one of the best shows, one of the best cartoons ever made. I don't care what anybody says. It was so cool. It was so fly. It was basically, for me, when I was growing up, it was like Barbie dolls come to life. Like, they had their own show and they were just on life, like just being superstars or whatever. I just love Jem. Jem is everything, okay? Like, Jem is that girl. So to have somebody like Jem Bartel making art that just resonates in the space of Lisa Frank meets Jem was just perfect for me because I did enjoy a Lisa Frank. I never got my own set of Lisa Franks because, you know, back in the 90s or whatever, Lisa Frank was everything, but at the same time, it was like, it's only for girls, okay? And I was just like, I don't care. I love Lisa Frank. Lisa Frank is everything. I love those psychedelic, obnoxious colors. They are like, I love, it's just so, it's weird that it's just so busy, but it also seems so peaceful. I love Lisa Frank stuff, and I love Jem, okay? And I just love that Jem Bartel was doing the art for this. And I thought, like, her art was, like, amazing in this book. It was just, it's amazing as usual. Classic, clean, beautiful. It's just, this is me. This is, like, my favorite kind of artwork. Like, I just love this artwork so much. It's everything. It's, like, the best artwork. It's like it's just so my kind of artwork. Like, I just love it. I will say the story though, it did not blow me away exactly. It felt like it could have been better. The story could have been so much better. The art was amazing, and I think the art is almost this book's saving grace because the story just felt really weak. I just was not fully emotionally connected or immersed in this story as I would have liked. But I love the visuals. I love what was happening. I do kind of get that maybe it is a different world, a different kind of fantasy world. So maybe that's why things happened the way that they did. But I don't know. I just didn't believe it too much. I didn't relate to it completely. I just love the artwork though. I love the art. I love it. It's beautiful. I love the concepts that they came up with. But I do feel like it could have been a lot more well thought out. It didn't feel like there was a foundation to a lot of this stuff. Stuff almost kind of felt like ideas kind of thrown out, stuff kind of shows up, and I don't know, it just didn't feel like fully weaved. But I do love Blackbird, and I would definitely check out the next trade collection. I will definitely see if there's more of it, and I will definitely check out and see if how much more the story expands and how much more emotional connection I can get out of this story, because I feel like could have been more, could have done more. I'm gonna reread it and just see how I really feel and really see if I was missing something when it came to the story, because I enjoyed the artwork so much and I enjoyed certain elements of the story, I guess. I feel like it just wasn't fully well done, fleshed out. Relationships and like things happening, and they kind of just like skipped to the next thing and kind of brought stuff. I don't know. It just wasn't working. No, girl, it just wasn't working. But I love it though. I do love Jen's artwork, and I'm glad the book exists. But no, I read Animosity Year One by Marguerite Bennett and Raphael De La Torre. It's sort of a hardback trade bind up of the Animosity comic book, I guess for the first year of its creation. And I realized that there is a spin-off trade called Animosity Evolution. And I kind of want to get into that too, because in reading this and getting to the end, and there's like some bonus feature information, it shows that there's so much more to this Animosity world. And I'm like, yo, they really like they thought about the world going into this. Like they came up with a seed of a story, and then they started like really expanding on this story. They built a world out of the story. They had emotionally resonant characters, like characters with like very distinct personalities that you were like, yo, you can hear their voices. You can just really like not just see them on the page visually, but like you're seeing their emotions. Like you can feel it. Like I can see this turning into like an AMC, if AMC has the budget, series, like very much Walking Dead, Preacher kind of thing. Like I can see it turning into that, but I don't think AMC has this kind of budget. Not with the way how they was treating The Walking Dead. Animosity is so good. I can definitely see it becoming something. Bringing this to life, it'll be epic. And you know one thing? I understand why people love like their animals, especially their dogs, so much more than they care about like people who are unjustly killed. Like this book makes you kind of understand it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like just really loving some of these animals in here, and like I care about them. And then you think about the stuff that like like humans do to have done to animals and stuff like that, and you're like, yo, I get it from reading this book. I don't fully agree with white people who care more about animals than they actually care about people, but I understand from reading this book. You know, I just understand a little bit more. Don't agree, just understand. I will say Animosity is a great book. It's a great story. It's got so much like of a diverse concept. Like there's an interracial relationship. There's discussions of beliefs, of like religious beliefs and politics involved, you know, and existential discussions and discussions about religion. It's good. It's like it's a really great story. They've done so much in just like, I mean, it's a lot of pages they worked with, but it was just like they've done so much. Yeah, I enjoyed Animosity a lot, and I definitely would recommend more people reading this. Like, this is a great story. It's so good. I was entertained by it. I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed this so much. I was like invested. I'm like, and the art is so beautiful too. There was like one picture that I loved so much. Like, just the art. It's just so, and it's also, I just feel like it's very like, it's very pleasing art. Like for the average person, this is like usually it'd be mostly pleasing art. Like I'm looking forward to reading more like comic book bind ups, trades, graphic novels. If anybody has any recommendations, I am open to checking them out. I'm looking forward to reading comic books and graphic novels because I find them so interesting and entertaining. I think it's helpful in my own reading process and also in my process of writing. It sparks my mind in a different way. Graphic novels are great, and I'm looking forward to reading more graphic novels. I'll definitely be reading The Wicked and the Divine, Invincible, Saga. There's a Spider-Man trade bind up of this, I think, I don't know, Spider-Man throughout the years thing. I want to read that because I find that quite fascinating. And I think with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I've been a little bit interested and fascinated with Spider-Man because Tom Holland has made Spider-Man kind of really interesting since the days of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I never liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I thought that was just so unnecessary and like, but I'm looking forward to reading that, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading the House of X, Powers of X trade bind up because I've been hearing everybody talking about that like crazy, and I'll be like, yo, I want in because I have loved X-Men since the 90s cartoon. Rogue is like one of my favorites. I love Rogue Down. She is a baddie, bad bitch down supreme. I stan her. Like, I do just love Rogue. I just love Rogue. Like Rogue, oh my gosh. So I'm just looking forward to reading House of X, Powers of X trade bind up. I hope I can get a copy because the way how them comic book issues been selling out, I'm like, yo, I'm scared that I might not even be able to get a trade because the way how everybody's getting so stoked and hyped and excited about it, I want in. I want to read it because I'm excited about it because it sounds good. I'll definitely check out some more X-Men stuff because I'm really like into X-Men. I connect with X-Men so much. So I'm definitely gonna be getting more into comics and graphic novels and trade bind ups because thank you for sharing your time with me, and I am out this bitch like Fleek.